Welcome to CBS Sports HQ. I'm Amanda Guerra with you. We are just 2 days away from a super wild card weekend. We're going to give out grades to some of the teams that didn't make it. But first, some of the best props heading into the games this weekend.
Super Wild Card Weekend kicks off on Saturday with a captivating AFC doubleheader. The Las Vegas Raiders, fresh off an overtime thriller against the Chargers, made the playoffs for just the second time in the past 19 years and will mark the first postseason appearance for Derek Carr. And although they'll have a short week and travel to Cincy to take on the Bengals, this team has proven they can thrive under adversity with 6 walk-off wins this season, the most since the NFL merger.
It feels cool, it's awesome, but our goals, this is one of them, but there was more after that too. We're excited, and we got to play a team that already beat us, so it's going to be tough.
For the Bengals, this is their first postseason appearance since the 2015 campaign, with their last playoff win coming over 3 decades ago. But it's a new era in Cincinnati with the potent combination of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. The Bengals are capable of going toe-to-toe with anyone in the AFC.
We've got a long ways to go and a lot of potential here, and we haven't even reached it yet.
In the nightcap, AFC East rivals, the Buffalo Bills and New England Patriots will meet for the 3rd time in Orchard Park in front of what is sure to be a raucous crowd. The Patriots come to the playoffs in a bit of a slide, having dropped 3 out of their past 4, but as always, it's task at hand in Foxborough.
Try playing coach well. It's a one-game season. It's no big mystery.
The Bills are coming into the postseason winners of 4 straight, including a double-digit win in New England in Week 16. But they're well aware that every matchup with the Patriots has a life of its own and will need to be on their A game to advance.
With the knowledge that we've gained over the last couple of years, obviously, like I said, I keep saying this, the main goal is to win the Super Bowl.
Who will rise to the occasion and take a step closer to reaching the Super Bowl? Super Wild Card Weekend is about to get underway.
And there it is, Super Wild Card Weekend. Your lineup starting Saturday, 4:30. The Raiders at the Bengals there. Both Pete Prisco and Brady Quinn think the Bengals will move on. But the Raiders may be able to cover the number there. Patriots, Bills, Eagles, Bucks kicking off on Sunday there. And it all ends with the Cardinals at Rams, an NFC West showdown between these two teams Monday, 8:15 Eastern. Let's welcome in the host of the Pick 6 podcast, Will Brinson, to give us some props and best bets for this weekend. I want to start with this. It's so interesting, the guy you chose, player to lead wild card weekend in passing yards. And I will say this team is getting a lot of love from Ray Lewis and Pete Prisco right now.
Jimmy Garoppolo, my guy for the 49ers. I don't know if I like old Mush Prisco jumping on board with my 49ers, who I picked to win the Super Bowl before the season and who I'm still picking to make a run, as we talked about on HQ yesterday, I believe. But I think Jimmy G is a decent value, Amanda, when you look at 16-1 to lead wild card weekend in passing. Now, look, I mean, obviously, there's a greater likelihood of someone like Dak Prescott or Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes or even Matthew Stafford, future Hall of Famer Matthew Stafford, leading the weekend in passing. We're talking about more up-tempo offenses, better deep threats. But I think Jimmy G, could find himself in a situation where he's just as forced because of how the secondary is for the 49ers and because of how dangerous Dak Prescott and that Cowboys offense is, that he's just forced to chunk the ball around. And you got that stat right there, second in the NFL in yards per pass attempt at 8.6, full half yard more than third place Matthew Stafford. They have plenty of weapons in terms of the 49ers passing game. You got Deebo Samuel, who can be used as a rusher, a passer, and a rusher, a receiver, and a passer. Brandon Ayuk has had a really nice stretch run to close out the year. And then, of course, George Kittle there, along with several other sundry weapons. I think Jimmy G, a nice little dark horse, put up a big number against a Cowboys defense that it's been good against the pass, but it's susceptible to big plays.
That was my other question. Are we going for value here or realistic? So maybe kind of a combination of the two, leading toward value.
I don't think Jimmy G is going to lead the weekend in passing. It's a longer shot at 16-1. So some value there. Not like would be my number 1 pick in a draft if we were picking passers.
All right. What about the next one? Player to lead the wild card weekend in rushing yards. Where do you find some value there?
I actually thought, I was kind of surprised at this number. This is something I would bet the Jimmy G thing too, but I would be really interested in betting Darrell Williams of the Kansas City Chiefs to lead wild card weekend in rushing. When you look at the Chiefs and the matchup against the Steelers, first of all, is very conducive to him being able to run the ball effectively. And I think part of the value here is that there's an expectation of Clyde Edwards-Helaire playing in this game. He was at least on the list. I think there's a chance that we don't see Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and that what ends up happening is Williams is the bell cow for this team. The Steelers, oh, look at that. Dead last in yards per rush allowed, and rush yards per game allowed is, as you can see from the graphic, they're most allowed in any season in the Super Bowl era. So this is while we think about the Steelers defense as maybe having a lot of stars, they're terrible against the run. They're also a 12.5-point underdog. Now, I think they'll keep it a little bit closer, but if the Chiefs get up double digits or get up even more, get up over 14 points, right? Maybe they got 21 points. They're going to be running the ball a ton because you can ice the Steelers out of these games with a lot of rushes, which would lead to Darrell Williams getting a ton of carries. I think he should probably be closer to like 12-1, 13-1. This is really good value for the Chiefs, a guy who could be the Chiefs leading back.
You must really like the value for this next one. Highest scoring team this weekend, where it will be, I don't know, 3 degrees maybe. So go ahead and explain your pick here.
Patriots, the New England Patriots. That's right. I don't think anybody thinks about New England as like, oh, that Mac Jones-led offense, just spraying the ball over the place, piling up points. But hey, this team has dropped 250 burgers in the last like 6 or so weeks, I think. Now, granted, they're against really bad football teams, but New England can blow out a team. They aren't scared to do it. And the Bills are a much better team. They're much more equipped to come back against New England. But this total at 44 is a little bit higher than I think people would expect. Typically with a really low temperature and two defensive-minded teams, you think you'd see a 41 or something like that. I think there's a reasonable chance that and look, we're talking about a team that is right there with the Eagles in terms of second lowest, the second longest odds, tied for the second longest odds. Steelers only behind them. New England can get going offensively. And if Buffalo, here's the sort of the scenario I see playing out where this could happen is New England rushes the ball really well, plays some great defense. They force Josh Allen in this tough weather to become one-dimensional and to try to get aggressive down the field. He gets flustered. They get some pass rush home. And all of a sudden, there's a pick six here, a pick six there, scoop and score, maybe 2 defensive touchdowns. They're running the ball late because they've got a lead, and they pop one or two more into the end zone. So, I mean, it's definitely a long shot. I get it. But I don't hate it at 25-1. People are just sleeping on the fact that the Patriots can't go into Buffalo and toss up a big number on them. They can do that.
Yeah, with a low of 2 degrees, and this is the nighttime game there, et cetera. All right, so we see the graphic there, Josh Allen. Go ahead.
You know what people don't like to do in 2-degree weather, Amanda? Tackle.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Go to the other side because the team to score the fewest points this weekend, we find our friend the Bills and Josh Allen, and we saw the graphic there. Doesn't do well in cold weather.
Yeah, it was interesting. Stephon Diggs came out and said, like, this week, he's like, yeah, man, Josh Allen's got to take something off these passes in the cold weather. My fingers are killing me. They're harder to catch. And I think there's like Mina Kimes had a great take that, maybe the Bills should like build a dome because Josh Allen is more effective inside. That's not very, it's not very like on brand for Buffalo, but it is kind of an interesting concept if Josh Allen is not as good in cold weather. I think it's curious where the Bills are placed here, right? And granted, the Patriots plus 475 shows you that their team total not that high, but the Bills are, below the 49ers, Cowboys, Rams, Bengals, etc. And the Bills are in theory a high-octane team. It is possible that the Patriots just go. I mean, let's just say this out loud. Can Bill Belichick go into a road playoff game and lock down an opposing offense? Hell yeah. I mean, it's Bill Belichick, and this is a great defense. It's not out of the question that Josh Allen has what Matt Norlander called the Louisville against NC State last night, a yikesy. It's not out of the question that Bill Belichick rolls into town. Josh Allen has a yikesy, and the Bills put up 9 points in a 12-9 loss because Belichick's defense locked down the Buffalo offense. I mean, that's not out of the question. I think at that price, pretty good flyer.
Will, I have something from our producer, Jack. It has to do with Top Gun and Julian Edelman. I am not a Top Gun person. So, Julia, but I do get this at least, and I hope you can see it there.
Look at that.
Bill wore the Danger Zone sweatshirt. You got Julian Edelman saying, talk to me. He goes, didn't Goose die?
Yeah, but I mean, yes, Goose died. But I mean, I don't know how you want me to answer
I know,
that.
I just
Yes,
killed all
Goose
of
died.
it.
Look, I love it. I want a danger zone. I need a danger zone sweatshirt as well. I think that would be pretty fantastic. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but you introduced me as the host of the Pick Six podcast. Debo, producer Debo, and Ryan Wilson are currently pulling. Like the podcast is live right now, and they're pulling a Cersei Lannister Game of Thrones move on me to steal the podcast away.
Probably. I mean, maybe it shows that Bill has a little personality, you know, with his danger zone sweatshirt.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for anybody who hasn't seen Top Gun. I really don't remember it. So there you go.
I think you can safely
Right?
play spoiler.
We've passed that. We've passed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
About 20 years ago. Yes.
Where they've even had like the remake or something. Didn't watch that either. Best bet. And I hate to break this to you because we had Pete Prisco on yesterday. This is also Pete Prisco's best bet for the weekend. What is it?
Yeah, I know. He's trying to weasel in on my 49ers. Back off, Prisco. Fine. I'll one up him. Not only I won't just take the 49ers +3 like Pete, that scared little coward. I'll take the 49ers on the money line. Sorry to do it to your Cowboys, but I think San Francisco can run the ball really effectively. Jimmy G has got tons of playoff experiences. He won't be worried about this at all. I like, and this is a great stat. John Breach brought this up on the podcast on Sunday, and of course, probably stole it from the research team, but the NFC East, the Cowboys feasted on the NFC East, and they were just marginal against everybody else. The Niners defense, that defensive line is nasty and getting after people. I think we'll see some turnovers created, some pressure applied to Dak, and the 49ers get downhill in that run game, especially if Trent Williams is back and ready for this game. Love the 49ers on CBS and Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus on, Sunday afternoon, 4:30.
I appreciate you doing that job for me. Do you see this? That is what Pete had. So you guys are exactly the same, Will Brinson. You're probably doing your Wordle during our show.
Is what you should do.
Yeah, exactly. I just think you were doing your Wordle, I can say it, during our show. It's taken over the world. Okay, Super Wildcard Weekend props here. Coming in from Will Brinson. Not necessarily what he thinks is going to happen, but he finds the best value here. Passing yards leader, Jimmy Garoppolo. He's going with the Patriots to be the highest scoring team. He thinks that's pretty good value there, 25-1 odds. The Bills to be the lowest scoring team. And his best bet, along with Pete Prisco, 49ers money line.